The red squirrel are an endangered species as their non-native grey squirrel cousins compete and win their habitat. Here's an example of the grey squirrel. As we can see here, it's been rather fast in retrieving that peanut. But it's other things the grey squirrel does that affects the habitat, such as introducing non-native diseases which decimate populations of red squirrel. From head to body, the length of the squirrel is between 5.9 and 9 inches, and it weighs between 250 and 340 grams, which makes it smaller than its American cousin, the grey squirrel. It has a long bushy tail, which is thought to help it balance, as you can see in this here picture. Again, there's the grey squirrel, which threatens its habitat. But that bushy tail that it has there helps it as it jumps from tree to tree, maintaining balance. Now the red squirrel's coat changes colour depending on the time of year and location. It sheds its shorter summer coat and grows in this longer coat with darker colours, as you can see in this picture here. It's looking rather grey as it gets this dull colour. As we know, dull colours such as grey or white are not uncommon in winter coats for animals here. And as you can see, the tufts on the top of its ears there, these grow in more prominently in the winter, just to help it survive the cooler conditions. Again, this one's taken it too far. He's found some food, that's good though. Now, you'll find that these red squirrels tend to inhabit boreal and coniferous woods in northern Europe and Siberia, preferring the Scots pine among other trees, including the Norway spruce and the Siberian pine. This here's an example of the Scots pine. It's a particularly beautiful looking tree. Now 3 to 4 young red squirrels will be born at one time, even up to as many as 6. In gestation, which is the period it takes for the newborn squirrel to emerge after conception, is usually between 38 and 39 days. And these animals can survive up to around 3 years in the wild, even up to 7 years if they're fortunate, and 10 years in captivity. What's quite remarkable is that up to 85% perish after their first winter. So the young of a red squirrel, up to 85% of them will perish in their first winter. And then juveniles only have a 50% chance of surviving the next winter again and again until it's reached maturity. Considering they only live 3 to 4 years, they really have it tough, don't they? This is what they need. Their survival rates depend on the availability of foods. Foodstuff is essential for their survival. They eat seeds, berries, nuts, young shoots, and bird eggs. And they often store food caches in nooks of trees, which is essential really because they really need that given the cold conditions that they have to endure. So hopefully here in Britain, Scotland in particular, the red squirrel hasn't come to the end of the road. But we have to salute the red squirrel because of its persistence. You see, 85% of them, as I've mentioned before, perish in the first winter. There's a very narrow road that the squirrel has to walk. And then even when it's on that narrow road, there are things that can take it off that narrow path and lead it to swift destruction again. As I mentioned, 50% survival rates after the first winter. So it's important that the squirrel find the food, the important food, the food that matters, the nuts, the berries, the young shoots, the eggs, and that it retains that food in its tree to ensure its survival. And I think in that there's a message for all of us. Stay tuned. Next time I'll be talking about the swan. All the best.